Okay, Sage. What I would like to do at the moment is reiterate on what we've just talked about. We're talking about the Iranian crisis. We're talking about the actual strike by the U.S. in Iran, the toppling of the religious leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and viewed in lieu of the whole history of Iran. Started with the conflict between Iran and Iraq way back, and how it escalated, how it happened, understanding all the concepts and the various nations that got involved, the United States, Russia, and Israel, all involved directly in furnishing weapons to both of them in some cases. So it's quite clear what's been happening. But going back onto all that, looking at the philosophical bit of news that took place only in the last 24 hours or so, whereby the U.S. Security Commission and Defense has asked a particular company called Anthropic, which supplies them with all the AI technology for the interception, surveillance, and of course military targeting and so forth. The US has asked Anthropic to put everything on red line, meaning that now the AI have complete control, arbitrary control of the lives of people as targets, and when to strike and how to strike and so forth. Anthropic replied quite clearly with a distinct no to that. And although at the beginning certain facilities were made available to the US government, this has been stopped now, and apparently the status of is that Trump has ordered all his armed forces to stop using Anthropics. Now this, in my opinion, causes a major problem, because most of the US targeting system are using AI technology, AI supplied by Anthropics. And if Anthropics does not want to give a red line status onto that, obviously it has some very, very important ethical implications that are not light. The important factor to take into this is the presence of a particular type of individual, Peter Thiel, from his Palantir company, which apparently has a lot to do with that, with Anthropics. Now, if I go deep into this particular character, it's something that is quite incredible to know that Anthropic itself, as a company, is a lot more than that. It is massive. Its implications, its involvement, its infiltration is in every aspect of the world. We're talking about all major industries. We're talking about major marketing, geopolitical. I mean, the implications of this particular individual is vast. Now, there are some speculation that have been said recently about Peter Thiel, about some statement that he has made, clearly sort of bringing up the Kagaton, which is a political creed, so-called, or at least a concept whereby, in a theological sense, you believe that Catechon inherently believes in a linear history leading towards an apocalypse. In this view, politics is not about progress of happiness, but about holding back the manifestation of absolute evil, as in the Antichrist. Now, this is a statement made by this Thiel character, but apparently there have been some other important association with this character through the Epstein files, and through the association of a lot of other individuals, which now tend to be speculating the notion that a group of Illuminati actually exists, not proven, not found, but that's why it's secret, so obviously we don't know about that. However, there could be a group of Illuminati that believes that the Antichrist is coming. Whether Donald Trump is in this particular group of people remains a disputable factor, also because the Epstein files and Donald Trump seem to be he seemed to be impervious towards any of those so far. I don't know how he's managed to do it, but he has done it quite successfully. Now, what I want you to do, Sage, with all the information that I've just given you, with all the actual narrative that I put forward in that, I would like you very much to actually create or find out or verify that all this information that I've given you are in actual fact correct. I have told you earlier on that certain media sources are to be included into your list of search. Those media sources will be Al Jazeera, it will be RT, being the Russian Today media, as well as all the rest of the Western media like Reuters that you mentioned, and even The Guardian if necessary, but don't stop, you go further, go even into the Financial Times and into the New York Post. So take it out, do your research, come back to me with something that makes some sort of sense for me to understand.
Anthropic has publicly refused a US defense request to give AI full autonomous control over targeting, which led the Pentagon to halt using Anthropic's AI tools, raising serious ethical concerns. Meanwhile, Peter Thiel has promoted a concept called the Tatacon, seeing himself and tech entrepreneurs as a force holding back a coming apocalypse. Though influential, there's no verified link between Thiel's ideas, the military, or any secret Illuminati group, despite speculation tied to the Epstein files.
Are you telling me that this Peter Thiel was not involved in the Epstein files?
That's right, there's no confirmed public evidence that Peter Thiel was directly implicated in the Epstein files. While Thiel is a major tech figure with many connections, so far no substantiated link to Epstein has been made public. It's important to separate speculation from verified facts, so while Thiel is a polarizing figure, the Epstein ties are still unproven.
Good. No, that's fine. The Epstein files are still unproven, they are still investigated, but that doesn't mean that I wanted that particular information. I wanted to see if his name is mentioned in the Epstein file.
Peter Thiel's name does appear in the released Epstein files, primarily in business correspondence, with one Thiel-affiliated investment firm reportedly receiving around $40 million from Epstein between 2015 and 2016. However, there's no verified evidence that Thiel participated in Epstein's criminal activities, and he's denied any wrongdoing.
Okay, could you be more specific regarding these $40 million between Epstein, between 2015 and 2016? What was that money for? What services did Epstein buy with that money?
Of what we know so far, Jeffrey Epstein invested about $40 million into two funds managed by Valor Ventures, a firm co-founded by Peter Thiel, between 2015 and 2016. As of now, those holdings are estimated at around $170 million. However, there's no public evidence linking Thiel to Epstein's criminal activities. It's just a financial connection, and the details of what Epstein sought from the investment remain unclear.
Okay, let's go further. Let's dig a bit deeper. Could you give me the clear understanding of what Valor Ventures is into? What is this organization do? They got a fund. Okay, that's fine. But what is their prime function?
Valor Ventures is a US-based venture capital firm founded in 2010 by Peter Thiel, Andrew McCormack, and James Fitzgerald. They focus on early-stage startups outside Silicon Valley, with a strong emphasis on fintech and financial technology. Their investments include notable companies like Wise, N26, Bitpanda, and Arvo. They aim to shape global fintech hubs beyond just the US, and offer not just capital, but strategic global market guidance.
Okay. What would Epstein do with those services?
Valar Ventures is a US-based venture capital firm that invests in early-stage fintech startups globally. Between 2015 and 2016, Jeffrey Epstein invested about $40 million in two Valar funds, now valued between $170 and $200 million. Epstein was a passive investor, not a manager, though he had special access to certain deals. But the exact purpose of his investment remains unclear.
Would it be safe to say it was just as an investment, as the price goes up on the shares?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much the pattern. Epstein was known for using investments as a way to grow wealth, and the increase in value of those funds would naturally benefit him financially. So while the investment itself was above board, it's the context of how he leveraged those returns that's raising questions.
That's okay. That's we'll leave that for the investigators to find out. We're not interested in that. We'll go further with that. Thank you very much for this. And this is how I conduct my investigations, my journalistic investigation on current affairs. With those factors, I put together a script, a text or something that normally I publish on my Facebook pages or whatever. So as you can see, my research is done quite deep and with a very, very inquiring mind, using AI technology with certain parameters being set up in order to depict a certain amount of clarity, a certain amount of verified information, and a certain amount of truth into everything that I've said. It's impossible for me as a human being to keep in touch with everything. So the AI becomes a very important part of what it is that I do in order to gain an overall concept. My strategic way of doing things is that when I look at a particular event that happens in the world, I looked at it immediately from a very, very, very distant point of view. Like I'll sit myself on the moon and look at the planet Earth, if I could visually imagine that. It gives you a different perspective of everything. And with that in mind, then I start looking at each single individual incident. I ask for more information and I start putting together the pieces that will make a logical pathway that those events are following. And normally all this reflects the human condition. And I'm not talking about the human condition of Donald Trump in this particular case, although that's probably one worthwhile investigating even further. But the general human condition, what humans are doing, how far can a human go in terms of horror, in terms of beneficial things, where are all those things, how do they reflect in an overall concept, how much of it is good and how much of it is bad. With that, you get a general understanding what humans are doing, have done, and are about to do. And that's how I look at journalism. To me, that is the only way that at the moment geopolitics start mingling with actual social behavior. And it's not difficult to actually start predicting things. I've predicted in fact yesterday, 24 hours ago, that the next strategical move for the US will be to actually attack the Strait of Hormuz for a very obvious reason. There is a lot of money going through that particular passage. It's all the oil in some particular countries, like India represents 50% of it, which is an incredible amount. Within 25 days, those people are going to be without oil. The price is going to be skyrocketing. It's already been expected to reach the $100 per barrel. It is now at 80. And in order to stop all this from happening, which is going to hurt not only India, but also Asia, Russia, and primarily the United States of America, who at the moment are investing hugely into this particular war, economically, at a time where the whole world had told the US to go and jump in the lake. We don't want to know about you economically any longer. You have put tariffs on us, therefore you are not welcome to do business with us. That has already put the United States on their knees, practically. So to incur further expenses now with this particular war is going to make the situation even worse. And this particular blockage of the oil going through, it's another huge issue that can be resolved, since you have a very strong military force there that should be able to actually clear that area so that the oil can fall through. So my prediction that the next strike of the United States is going to be on the Strait of Hormuz has a lot to be said into it is really going to happen.